Today I'm going to be making stuffed sweet potatoes. I'm going to do two versions. One's going to be a Mexican flavor and one's going to be a barbecue chicken. So let's jump in. Today I'm using sweet potatoes. These are actually from the local farm, the Vermont Youth Conservation Corporation's healthcare share program. So these sweet potatoes might look quite a bit smaller than what you might get at the store, but it's going to work with any size. So to bake your sweet potatoes, you can do it in the oven or you can do it in the microwave. Just do what works for you and what you have time for. No matter what method you're doing, you need to start by stabbing your sweet potatoes so they don't explode. So take a fork, kind of carefully jab it in there like 5 or 6 times. Carefully don't stab your fingers. It might be easier to probably keep them on the cutting board. You don't have to go super far in. We just want to break the skin enough so the steam can come out while they're cooking. And then if these are going in the oven, it's at 400, I already did that one, 400 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour. They take a while. It can be a nice thing to do when you have the oven on already for something else, just kind of sticking them in there, even if it's a day before you need them. But then the microwave option is a really great one, especially if you want them quickly. And so they take I usually do about 3 minutes per side, flip them over, and then another 3 minutes for kind of a normal sized sweet potato. These might take a little less just because they're small. This bigger one will take a little bit longer. All right, so my sweet potatoes are stabbed. If you are baking these in the oven, you can rub them with a little olive oil, maybe a little bit of salt if you like it, or you can just put them in plain. But for the microwave, they just go in as is. So my smaller sweet potatoes are done. They did take about the 3 minutes on each side, so about 6 minutes total in the microwave. And to make sure they're done, you can take a fork or a knife and just make sure it's going through them kind of in all areas. They'll also be kind of squishy to the touch. Okay, so you want to spread out your potato on your plate or in your bowl. And so if you're using a large one, again, you would just kind of draw an X in it and open it up like a regular potato. With these smaller ones, I'm going to kind of cut off the top and bottom just because those won't be quite as enjoyable to eat, and open them up here. Use a couple of them. And then you can decide if you want to keep the skin on or if you prefer to kind of open it up and mash it outside the skin. Open that one up a little more. Again, there's no exact right or wrong here. And you can really kind of make the volume that you need. Okay, we'll do one more. They look good. All right, so I've got my kind of opened up, squished sweet potato there on the plate. So our first one's going to be our taco filling, or a Mexican style sweet potato. And so the first ingredient we want is some sort of protein. So today I'm going to use black beans, but you could also use taco meat. So if you have leftover taco meat or you want to make it for this, you could do that. Taco meat's a great one to kind of make in a little bit extra, and then you can either freeze it or keep it in the fridge for a few days and use it as needed. So for my beans, I just opened a can of black beans and I put it in my strainer, ran the faucet over it for a little while to get the juices drained. And then I will put a bit in a dish. So again, I'm just making one serving here, so probably about 1/4 cup. And then I have some taco seasoning here. This is a homemade taco seasoning, but you could also just use a packet of taco seasoning if you have that on hand. If you don't have either, but you have some cumin or chili powder, or even onion and garlic powder in your spice cupboard, just use that. So about a teaspoon, we'll just shake it over the beans there, mix them up. And I would add a teaspoon or two of water to this, especially if you're using a store-bought taco seasoning. Sometimes they have cornstarch in them too, and so you will get it kind of thickening up, but the water is just going to help the spices kind of soften up a little bit. And then I'm just going to microwave this for about 30 seconds. I am going to cover it. Beans tend to kind of like to pop in the microwave. So cover it in 30 seconds just to warm it up and get those spices kind of opened up. Okay. And then let's think about what else we want to put on a Mexican style sweet potato. So Today, again, there's no exacts to this, but go with things that you would like on a taco. So I've got some salsa. I have a little cheese. I have an avocado if I wanted to put some of that on. And I have some plain Greek yogurt that I'm going to use as a sour cream option, but you could use a light sour cream if you prefer that as well. And then I do have a head of lettuce here too if I wanted to kind of chop up some lettuce as well. All right, so my beans are nice and hot now. They smell like tacos. So we'll get these on the potato. I'm actually not going to eat this right now, so I'm going to make a little smaller version just so I don't waste it. This is best made right when you want to eat it. So I'll just save the fixings and then put it together as I'm ready. Ooh, good catch. All right, a little bit of salsa on here. Some cheese, any type of cheese you like, Mexican cheese, cheddar cheese, mozzarella, use what you have on hand. And using a lot of spoons. Our dollop of Greek yogurt or sour cream on here. Yum. Even in my mini version, it looks delicious. So additional things, if you like cilantro and you have some fresh cilantro, that would be good on here. If you like a squeeze of lime juice, that might be yummy. Some diced up avocado, or even if you like to make guacamole, putting that a little bit of that on. And if you really want to make this a complete meal, putting it with some shredded lettuce, kind of making it almost like a taco salad feel, could be really delicious as well. So very quick, very easy. Now, what am I going to do with the rest of these beans, right? So, say you're a single or in a small household. I often freeze beans, so you can put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. And then next time you want to make this recipe, or you're making a chili or anything with beans, just take them out and you can thaw them in the microwave or just thaw them in the fridge. So, I think freezing is the best way to go, unless you're going to use them up in the next 4 days. Then you can just keep them in your fridge. Okay. So, moving on to our next option. Let me clean up a little bit here. Bring back these guys. Actually, let me get a bigger one. Here we go. The minis are going to taste fine, but from my standpoint of wanting to make it look really good for you all, a bigger one does look a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So this is a really nice option if you like barbecue chicken and you like coleslaw. And we're going to keep it really simple today. So I've got a bag of slaw, and I have some canned chicken and barbecue sauce. Canned chicken is a really nice option to have in your pantry because it's ready whenever you need it. So if you happen to have leftover cooked chicken, you can just cut that up, chop it up into small pieces, and use that in here as well. But if you want this as a really quick meal and haven't gone to the grocery store, canned chicken can be a really good option. So let's open this up. Again, think of this kind of like tuna. It's just going to have more of a mild chicken flavor. And I do find there tends to be quite a bit of liquid in here, so I like to drain it and even rinse it out just to get the nice clean chicken feel and look. The day of using a lot of spoons. All right, so I'll get my chicken in here. And this is a great one too. If you don't use all the chicken in your potato, just keeping the chicken in the barbecue sauce, you'll use it up in the next couple of days because it's delicious. All right, so I'm just gonna put in about a tablespoon of barbecue sauce. Most of us have barbecue sauce in the fridge. Mix it up. You might want to add a little bit more. One more little dollop in there. 1 to 2 tablespoons. And then again, like the beans, I'm going to warm this in the microwave just so we have that kind of consistent warm texture on our potato. So to make the slaw, I'm going to make the dressing first. So I'm just making a single serving here. You could expand this if you want more. But to make a really simple dressing, I'm going to use the bowl. I'm going to add the slaw and mix it in just so we can limit extra dishes. So we need a tablespoon of vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar, but you could use white vinegar, red wine vinegar. I wouldn't use balsamic. I would use something on the lighter side. 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Or whatever heart-healthy oil you have on hand. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. If you know you don't like a sweet slaw, you might even cut that down further. And then pinch of salt and pinch of pepper. And then we're literally just going to kind of whisk this up in the corner of our bowl. Again, it is a small volume here, but that's okay. We're just making a single serving. I love these bags of coleslaw. They're like $2. They're really affordable, and it's just easy and versatile. So I'm going to put about a cup of slaw in here. Occasionally you'll get a big chunk that comes out that might have like a little bit of core in it. Just pick those out. So then just kind of mix the coleslaw right into that dressing. And if you open a bag of slaw and you're wondering what else to do with it, I have an egg roll in a bowl recipe that's really delicious and simple. And we'll use up the rest of your slaw. Oh, there's one more core piece. So yeah, just let that kind of mix around and sit in that dressing for a little while to gain flavor. Okay, so our chicken is warm. Got this nice, easy barbecue chicken. And so you can put some chicken right in your potato. And then decide how you want to add your slaw. I'm almost thinking it's going to look better next to the potato instead of on top of it. So that's what I'm going to do. But if you have a good sized potato, you might be able to pack it all in there. Yum. So sweet potato, barbecue chicken, and some coleslaw in about 5 minutes. Really simple. You could, again, continue to get creative with this if you want a little bit of melted cheese on your barbecue chicken, if that's something you're into, if you want to splash a hot sauce, get creative in the way that you like. All right, we've got our Mexican sweet potato and our barbecue chicken sweet potato. So give these a try. They make a great, easy lunch or a simple dinner. Again, could be made for a crowd, but can also feed 1 or 2 people really easily.